Hi, so I think that this video was very informative. I think that the perspective it gave from parents and teachers really gave insight into the importance of SEL and how parents and both educators feel about it. What really resonated with me the most from this video was two things. First is the importance of social emotional learning at home and how as parents we are really like the first teacher for our kids, and we maintain that throughout their lives. It honestly made me like almost self-reflect on the way I parent my kids. I recently my daughter has been having a lot of tantrums and kind of like overreacting to things, so we've been practicing a lot of deep breathing and just kind of like taking a breath, taking time to just be more self-aware of what's happening, and then understanding why they're feeling the way they're feeling. um I think um I also learned a lot about how important it is to incorporate it into my classroom, and the role that as an educator that I have to make sure that I get my parents involved and really get them to promote to do the same strategies I'm doing here in the classroom at home. Um, it also really hit me that when we think about the people that we want to be around, they're people who are very much um, socially, emotionally in tune with themselves. They're the people that we want to work with. They're the kind of students we want to have. That really like made me consider like the importance of it and how we need to promote this. We need to incorporate it in every part of our lives. um to continue as a caregiver, I think again, we hold the most important role of SEL. um the the way to promote the five competencies of SEL. um we can, as caregivers, we can reinforce SEL by taking the time to talk to our kids about how we're feeling and what made us feel that way and how we reacted, and then asking them how they felt that day, what were some of the feelings and how did they react. Another thing is modeling. I think that's the hardest part as a parent, that sometimes you lose it. You you don't know how to control yourself, and I think that's learning and thinking about how do I want my kids to react, how do I want them to respond, and hoping that they model the same actions I do. um Also reinforcing relationships, feelings, by instead of me giving my kids advice, I could ask them questions, and rather than give advice and ask them how does that make them feel, how does this um how could that be improved, instead of me just telling them, well, this is what you should have done, or you shouldn't have done that. Or and I almost feel like it's almost like a therapeutic approach. Like, I've worked in mental health for a long time, so I feel that taking that approach really makes the child feel like they're equal to you in some way, like that you really are trying to understand how they feel on the inside. And again, I really believe that we as parents were our kids' first teachers in more ways than we think, and more importantly, like, if another way to that we could improve SEL is by attending, getting our own selves more involved in schools, attending meetings, emailing our teachers, asking what else they need, you know, just checking in more regularly will improve SEL, and our kids seeing us trying to develop that connection will promote them to want to do the same. Um, the school's role in SEL is to create structures and systems in place to promote SEL. Schools are, uh, I believe, already incorporating SEL into their classrooms. Um, I see it in my kids' classroom. I'm not currently working at a school, but I would definitely encourage them to do so. Um, putting the 5 competencies of SEL into real world settings like schools and stuff are what schools are doing. They're asking students to think about those competencies and how they are applying it to their everyday. How are they building relationships with their classmates? How are they managing their feelings? And having good SEL in classrooms promotes positive outcomes in more ways than we think. It promotes better performance for students, better, they feel more comfortable at school, they're happier at school. And in addition to promoting, in addition to this, I think as educators we need to understand that our we need to understand that academics as well as social emotional needs carry the same weight, and we shouldn't put one above the other, because in order to properly teach our students we need to have both. In addition, lastly, SEL in the community can be in many forms. Most people see it like in after school programs for students that promote SEL, that it almost creates continuity for the student to see SEL in play, and creating bigger role models for them. SEL in the community significantly impacts students in a positive way, by just letting them know that the typical role models that they didn't think they had or needed are also acting in the way that they should be. I think between communities, parents and caregivers, and schools, creating that continuity and creating more positive, safer environments is how we increase social emotional learning. Thank you.